Short answer questions. 1. What do you mean by language family? How are languages classified into language families? Language families are groups of languages that are related to each other through a common ancestral language. Just as members of a family share common ancestors, languages within a language family share a common parent language, which often no longer exists but has left behind descendant languages that evolved from over time. Classification into language families. A. Historical linguistics. Linguists classify languages into families based on historical evidence. This involves studying similarities in vocabulary, grammar, and phonetics across languages to determine if they have a shared origin. B. Proto-languages. A language family typically traces back to a hypothetical common ancestor called a proto-language. For example, the Indo-European language family is believed to have descended from Proto-Indo-European, a language spoken thousands of years ago. C. Comparative method. This method compares languages within a suspected family to identify regular patterns of sound changes, cognates words with a common origin, and grammatical structures. 2. Which is the largest language family in the world? Describe. The largest language family in the world is the Indo-European language family, spoken by nearly 3 billion people worldwide. It includes many of the world's most widely spoken languages, such as English, Spanish, Hindi, Bengali, Portuguese, Russian, German. The Indo-European family is divided into several branches, including 1. Germanic languages, e.g., English, German, Dutch. 2. Romance languages, e.g., Spanish, French, Italian. 3. Slavic languages, e.g., Russian, Polish, Czech. 4. Indo-Iranian languages, e.g., Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, Persian. 5. Celtic languages, e.g., Irish, Welsh. 6. Baltic languages, e.g., Lithuanian, Latvian. 7. Greek, a single branch. 8. Armenian, another single branch. 3. Locate the languages Nepali, English, French, Greek and Russian in the family tree of the Indo-European family of languages. The spread of Indo-European languages can be traced back to migration patterns over millennia, with these languages now spoken across Europe, the Americas, parts of Asia, and Oceania. This wide geographical distribution and the number of speakers make it the largest language family in the world. In the Indo-European family tree, the languages Nepali, English, French, and Russian are located in different branches. A. Nepali branch. Indo-Iranian branch. Sub-branch. Indo-Aryan group. Nepali is primarily spoken in Nepal and parts of India. B. English branch. Germanic branch. Sub-branch. West Germanic group. English is spoken globally, originating from England and spread due to British colonization. C. French branch. Italic branch. Sub-branch. Romance group. French, like other Romance languages, evolved from Latin, spoken in France and many parts of Africa, Canada, and other regions. D. Russian branch. Balto-Slavic branch. Sub-branch. Slavic group. Russian belongs to the East Slavic group and is the most widely spoken Slavic language, spoken primarily in Russia and former Soviet country. 4. Nepal is a multilingual country. Discuss. Nepal is highly diverse in languages, with over 122 recognized languages spoken. Nepali serves as the official language, but there are many regional and indigenous languages such as Maithili, Bhojpuri, Tharu, Tamang, Nuari, and Sherpa. This multilingualism is tied to the country's ethnic and cultural diversity, where different ethnic groups maintain their languages. Nepalese education and administration have traditionally prioritized Nepali and English, though there is growing recognition of the importance of preserving local languages. 5. What is language change? List the causes of language change and explain any one of them. Language change is the evolution of language over time, affecting vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. The causes include contact with other languages, e.g., borrowing words, migration and social changes, technological advancements, geographical separation of communities, cultural shifts and innovations. Contact with other languages is one of the primary causes of language change. For instance, English has borrowed numerous words from French, Latin, and other languages due to historical invasions and trade. 6. Discourse foreign influence is one of the causes of language change. Foreign influence impacts a language through colonization, trade, cultural exchange, or conquest. For example, during the British colonial era, English heavily influenced the languages of colonized countries like India and Nepal. Today, English continues to exert influence on local languages due to globalization, media, and technology. This results in the incorporation of foreign words, phrases, and expression into the native lexion. 7. What is language death? How does a language die? Language death happens when a language loses all of its native speakers and ceases to be used in daily communication. This can occur when speakers abandon the language in favor of a more dominant one. Younger generations stop learning the language. Social, political, or economic factors lead to cultural assimilation. Example: the Cornish language in the UK nearly died out in the 18th century but has since been revived by language enthusiasts. 8. What is language shift? Why do you think that a speech community shifts to another language? Language shift occurs when a community gradually abandons its native language in favor of another, usually due to social, economic, or political pressures. A community might shift to a dominant language to gain access to better economic opportunities, integrate into a larger or more prestigious social group, adapt to government-imposed language policies, e.g., official languages, cope with globalization and its demands for proficiency in widely spoken languages like English. 9. Distinguish between dialect and register. Dialect: a regional or social variation of a language, often distinguished by differences in pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. Example: British English versus American English. Register: the level of formality or style used in communication depending on the context. Example: formal register in business meetings versus informal register among friends. 10. What is idiolect? How does it show a person's identity? An idiolect refers to the unique way an individual speaks, encompassing their vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. It reflects a person's linguistic habits, which are shaped by factors like their cultural background, education, region, and social experiences. Idiolects can reveal a lot about a person's identity. For example, accent or dialect may indicate their geographical or social background. Word choices or expressions may reflect their age, education level, or even profession. Speech style formal versus informal can hint at their personality, social role, or context in which they are communicating. In essence, an idiolect serves as a linguistic fingerprint, showing the influences that have shaped a person's life and identity. 11. What is Pidgin? When does it become Creole? Describe. A pidgin is a simplified language that develops as a means of communication between speakers of different native languages. It has limited vocabulary and simplified grammar. Creole forms when a pidgin becomes the first language of a community, evolving into a fully developed language with a more complex structure. Example: Haitian Creole, which developed from French-based pidgin. 12. What is intercultural competence? Why does it need to be developed in today's globalized context? Intercultural competence refers to the ability to communicate and interact effectively with people from different cultural backgrounds. In today's globalized world, individuals frequently interact with people from diverse cultural contexts, making intercultural competence essential for fostering mutual understanding and respect, promoting successful business and diplomatic relations, navigating multicultural environments in work, education, and society. 13. Discuss the issue of the teaching of contents or skills or both. Content-based teaching focuses on subject matter, e.g., history or science, in the language learning process, integrating language skills with knowledge acquisition. Skills-based teaching emphasizes linguistic skills such as reading, writing, speaking, and listening, sometimes without much focus on content. Both approaches are necessary for a balanced educational experience, combining practical skills with knowledge in a meaningful context. 14. What is multilingualism? Can it be a problem or resource in a school context? Discuss. Multilingualism is the ability to speak and understand multiple languages. In a school context, it can be both a problem and a resource. Problem. It may cause challenges if teachers are not equipped to teach in multiple languages or if students struggle to balance multiple languages. 15. What does minority language identity mean? Can there be one's identity in their own language? Describe. Minority language identity refers to a person's cultural or ethnic identity associated with speaking a minority language. Language plays a crucial role in preserving cultural traditions and values. Yes, a person's identity can be strongly tied to their language, as language represents history, traditions, and the worldview of a community. For example, Welsh speakers in Wales see the Welsh language as central to their national identity. 16. What is mother tongue? What does mother tongue education mean? Write briefly. A mother tongue is the first language a person learns from birth and is often spoken at home. Mother tongue education refers to the practice of teaching children in their native language, especially in the early years of schooling. This method helps children better understand concepts. (17) What is language politics? How does it affect minority languages? Language politics refers to the ways in which language policies and practices impact power dynamics within societies. It includes decisions about which languages are promoted or suppressed, the rights of speakers of different languages, and the role of language in national identity. It affects minority languages by often marginalizing them, as dominant languages, usually official or state languages, are promoted. Minority languages may suffer from lack of institutional support, leading to decreased use and eventual language shift or death, as speakers adopt more dominant languages for social mobility or economic opportunities. 18. Define translation and discuss the concepts of source and target languages. Translation is the process of converting text or spoken content from one language to another. The source language is the original language of the text, while the target language is the language into which the content is translated. A key challenge in translation is ensuring that meaning, tone, and cultural nuances are preserved, as literal translation can often lead to misinterpretation or loss of meaning. 19. Discuss the types of translation. There are several types of translation. Literal translation. Word-for-word translation that focuses on maintaining the exact structure and words of the original text. Semantic translation focuses on translating the meaning of the text while maintaining the original's cultural context and nuance. Idiomatic translation attempts to convey the original meaning using expressions and idioms familiar in the target language, even if they differ significantly from the source language. Free translation prioritizes the overall message rather than specific wording, often leading to rephrasing or simplification. Technical translation specialized translation used for scientific, legal, or other technical fields, where accuracy is crucial. Machine translation translation performed by computer programs or algorithms, though it often lacks the nuance and accuracy of human translation. 20. Short notes on topics. A language families. A group of languages that share a common ancestral language. Examples include the Indo-European, Sino-Tibetan, and Afro-Asiatic families. B. Language change. The evolution of language over time, influenced by cultural shifts, technology, and contact with other languages. It affects pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. C. Language death. When a language loses all its native speakers and is no longer used in daily communication. This often happens due to language shift or political suppression. D. Language shift. The process by which a speech community transitions from using one language to another, usually due to social or economic pressures. E. Broadening. A type of semantic change where the meaning of a word becomes more inclusive over time, e.g. holiday originally meant a religious festival, now it means any break from work. F. Narrowing. A type of semantic change where the meaning of a word becomes more specific, e.g. meat used to mean food in general but now refers to a specific type of food. G. Dialect. A regional or social variety of a language distinguished by pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. H. Register. The level of formality or style of language used depending on the context, audience, or situation, e.g. formal, informal, technical, etc. I. Idiolect. The unique speech pattern of an individual, influenced by personal experience, social background, and regional dialect. J. Pidgin and Creole. Pidgin. A simplified language developed as a means of communication between speakers of different languages. Creole. A stable natural language that develops from a mixture of different languages, typically arising in colonial contexts. K. Language pedagogy. The method and practice of teaching language, involving approaches like immersion, bilingual education, and the communicative approach. L. Language rights. The human rights related to the use of language, including the right to speak one's native language and access to education in that language. M. Multilingualism and multiculturalism. Multilingualism refers to the ability to speak more than one language, while multiculturalism refers to the coexistence of diverse cultures in a society, including linguistic diversity. N. Minority language identity. The cultural and social identity associated with a minority language, often involving efforts to preserve and revitalize the language amidst pressures from dominant languages. O. Mother tongue education. Education provided in a child's first language, which is crucial for cognitive development and better academic performance. P. Translation. The process of converting text or speech from one language source language to another target language, aiming to retain meaning and cultural context.